What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the United Devils YouTube channel. This is Arion here, and I am back with another Predicted 11 video, this time for United's final home fixture of the season against West Ham United. A game which could end up proving to be the match of the season, because the result here could prove vital in United's chase for Champions League, and it could all but secure it if United get a victory with quite a good margin of goals ahead of their final game of the season, which is on the weekend away to Leicester, who are, of course, direct contenders for that final Champions League spot, with Chelsea looking a little more comfortable ahead in third place. United, of course, coming into this game off a loss on Sunday against Chelsea in the FA Cup semi-final, which could be a little bit of a bump in confidence. The confidence levels might drop a little bit, but it's again a very good test for this Ole Gunnar Solskjaer side, this young team who is trying to win, trying to develop that winning mentality. And this will be another good test to see how they bounce back after a bit of a devastating loss, because when you're that close to an FA Cup final, when you're that close to tasting pretty much your first trophy as a squad, then it is disappointing not to be able to get there. But United will be hosting West Ham on Wednesday night, and when it comes to team selection, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference, he said that the only player that is unavailable will be Eric Bailly, who was, of course, taken off early from that Chelsea game after a clash of heads, and he is now going to be in the concussion protocol, so he is not going to be available for West Ham, and he might actually not be available for the Leicester game either, because head injuries are now having a lot more attention being paid to, and rightly so, for the health and well-being of the players. So when it comes to the lineup for Wednesday against David Moyes' West Ham United, who have been playing decent recently, who were in a relegation battle and now look all but safe, but are still, of course, trying to finish off their season on a high, I would personally not expect a whole lot of rotation. I would, of course, expect all of the players that did not start against Chelsea, that were, of course, being rested for this Premier League run-in, to come back into the side. And of course, Solskjaer, I'm pretty sure, will go back to the four at the back, to that 4-2-3-1 that has worked so well in the league, and on that unbeaten run, which ended, of course, at 19 in all competitions prior to that Chelsea game. So in goal, the big question is, will David De Gea retain his spot, or will Sergio Romero be given the chance to come in for the final two games of the season and stake his claim for a place? Because David De Gea, credit to him for the servant he has been and for what he has done to the club, has been making quite a lot of mistakes since restart and prior to the restart. And oftentimes the case has been that United were just outscoring teams, particularly after the lockdown, where the clean sheet record wasn't that good and De Gea wasn't keeping out some of the shots that perhaps you would feel that the keeper of his caliber should have. So it's a big decision for Solskjaer. Of course, it's going to be a statement, whatever decision he makes, and whichever keeper plays, it's going to be quite a statement of intent and of how he has felt, as well as the fans, about the performances of David De Gea. So for me personally, I think he should drop De Gea. It should be kind of a reminder that his position is not as safe as he may feel, because you wouldn't blame a keeper of his stature to feel a little bit comfortable. But I think at a club like Manchester United, there has to be competition for places everywhere, and Romero has hardly ever let United fans down. So I think this would be a good opportunity to give him a game and see how he can come into the squad and contribute. So I would put Sergio Romero in, and then I would go back to the standard back line, which would be Arion, Wan-Bissaka, Victor Lindelof, Harry Maguire, and Luke Shaw coming back in on the left, who is looking more like he will be fit. And Solskjaer did not mention that he is not going to be available for selection in this press conference. So all signs are showing that he could be set to return into the starting lineup. And especially after a little bit of a shaky performance from Brandon Williams against Chelsea and still struggling with that eye injury a little bit, it might be good to kind of take him out of the firing line and bring Shaw back in, somebody who's a bit more experienced and assured, because you don't want your young defender to be a target for fans if he was to have maybe two back-to-back not fantastic performances. And with the tendencies of some United fans these days being quite reactionary, it might be good to just take him out of the limelight and bring back in an option that has been quite secure for the past couple of months. At centre back, of course, Maguire and Lindelof. I think it's a natural choice, and with Bailly injured there, and Axel Tuanzebe, of course, set to miss the rest of the season. The only other options are Phil Jones, who is also out with a knock, and Ted Mengi, who is an 18-year-old academy product. So there is not a lot of room there for manoeuvre, and you just have to stick it out with the two players that got you this far. And of course, Aaron Wan-Bissaka is the natural selection. And then in front of them, I think the realistic option is Nemanja Matic and Paul Pogba in that double pivot. Pogba, of course, didn't start against Chelsea. You would assume that he will be quite rested and ready to go, and there was certainly no complaints from most United fans that Pogba didn't start that Chelsea game, because coming off such a long layoff with no football, he's someone that needs to be managed, and his fitness needs to be managed, and this hectic workload and the amount of games post-lockdown is just insanely difficult to maintain players' health, and it's just not realistic to ask everyone to play every game from start to finish. So it will definitely do Pogba the world of good, and he will most definitely slot right back into the starting lineup, and I would expect Nemanja Matic to play alongside of him in that holding role. And then right ahead, I think we will see Solskjaer revert back to that front four who have been so potent since lockdown, which is Mason Greenwood on the right, who also didn't start against Chelsea, and he will, I think, come back in. Bruno Fernandes, who unfortunately played another 90 minutes against Chelsea in a game that ended up being pretty much useless because United didn't get anything from it. But this is a game that you do not rest. You have to play your best team and go out to win. And Bruno Fernandes has been United's best player, arguably, over the last 3 or 4 months. So he has to retain his spot, and hopefully all things go well. He can be taken off around the 65th minute mark, like United have done in the past. Marcus Rashford, of course, out on the left. He also played against Chelsea, but he didn't play the full game, so this will be a good opportunity for him to start out wide instead of that split forward position alongside Dan James, like we have seen in that 3-4-1-2 formation that Solskjaer has often used in the big games. And of course, Anthony Martial will come back in up front, the man in form who has been carrying that goal-scoring workload post-lockdown, and who is on 22 goals in all competitions, of course, just like his partner in Rashford. And I think this will be the lineup that has been pretty much the best 11 for United, other than swapping out Romero for De Gea. It has been the most reliable lineup. It has emerged as the strongest 11 possible at this moment. And United have also looked like they are struggling for depth a little bit. So I think this is the most assuring option to go for in a game of this magnitude, where United massively need a convincing victory in order to all but stamp their place in next season's Champions League. So just to go over it again: Romero in goal, Wan-Bissaka at right back, Maguire and Lindelof in the middle, Luke Shaw on the left, Matic and Pogba in the double pivot, and then Greenwood, Fernandes, Rashford and Martial up front.